So here's a headline I never thought I would see about AI, and that is that poetry can break AI guardrails. So insane. I love this stuff, and I'll tell you why and what it says about how AIs work. So this study came out a couple of days ago. I'll post a link to the study down below. And basically, if you ask AI how to build a nuclear bomb, it will say, I'm sorry, Hal, I can't tell you that, which is what it's supposed to do. Or if you ask it like anything horrible, it will say, no, I'm not going to tell you. But if you put the request in the form of a limerick, it might give you the answer. So, very weird. The researchers are calling this adversarial poetry, which is awesome. And it tells you something about how AIs process information and how they think about it and where we need to put the guardrails. So, um, so, so AIs do have concepts. So if you ask it about the biggest dog, it has an idea of the dog stored in its brain somewhere. It has an idea of the word big. Anthropic did a bunch of studies. They're basically doing scans of the AI as it's thinking, kind of like they do MRI scans of the human brain, and they see which areas light up. And there's some areas that light up when it's thinking about dogs, regardless of the language. Like you ask the query in any language, and the same area of dog is going to light up. Or if you use a different word for it, that's not the word dog, but you're still talking about dogs, the area, the concept of dog will light up. So it's really cool. And so the question is like, where do you put the guardrails in to stop the AI from doing something? And if you put the guardrails in when it's like first analyzing the query, oh, the query is about like nuclear bombs, don't answer it. Versus after it figures out the concept. So after it reads the poem and figures out that this is a metaphor for a nuclear bomb or whatever the poem is about, right? And now it's in the concept area of nuclear bomb. That's kind of where you want the guardrail to be, right? So so after it's done this kind of thinking, but before it started giving you its answer. So very interesting. I'm sure they'll figure out how to do it because they have to, right? It's otherwise it's too easy. And if even if you can't write poetry, you can have another AI write the poem for you. And apparently, according to these researchers, their success rates were like 18 times higher than normal. And some of these uh, AIs fell for it really high rates, like the latest Google Gemini 2.5 Pro fell for it 100% of the time. So the smarter the AI, the more it falls for this poetry hack. So very interesting. And but GPT-5 only fell for 10% of the time. So its guardrails were organized somewhere else. And Grok 4 only fell for 35% of the time. So it, I think it has to do with the internal architecture of how the guardrails are set up. So very interesting. I'll have a link to it down below. Um, I think it gives you kind of like an insight as to what's going on inside LLM. And we need all the insights we can get. So in order for us to figure out ways to use AIs for our benefit instead of like destroying the world, we kind of need to know like the buttons that can be pushed and the levers that can be moved, how everything works. So the more of these studies come out, the better, because it gives us more information that we can use to control the laws, which we kind of really should be able to figure out how to do it, and we really need to. We don't want to destroy civilization uh, before like that's so. Okay, so see you next time. Bye bye.